Hey guys, Sungjin Woo here on my Furywarrior Jiren, and today I figured I'd bring to you guys a Furywarrior guide. Furywarrior is extremely strong, at least in my opinion. I would say if I had to put it on a tier list, it's probably somewhere in the AAA plus. Um, it has a ton of great things about it: high mobility, lots of damage. All your abilities feel like it does something. Like it's not like some specs where it's just some abilities just feel like so bad to use. Every ability on Furywarrior feels great to use, at least in my opinion. And yeah, it's just a really fun spec. Like it's a high pace spec, so your fingers are mashing, they're bashing, they're constantly moving. It's a lot of fun. But today we're going to be specifically covering Mountain Thane theory or Fury, sorry. The thing I like about the spec is, again, does tons of damage, lots of AoE damage, which is nice. So lots of spread pressure, and it's like one of those things where you kind of feel like a frost mage because not only do we have our basic hamstring where we can apply slow and keep the target snared, but we also have thunderblast. So it's so much easier to keep the enemy like slowed, stick to them, like have high uptime, and even when you're facing other classes like BM Hunter and they have like a ton of pets, Thunderblast is amazing for like keeping their pets slowed and all that stuff. So I've been having a lot of fun with the spec. I like the fact that Thunderblast spreads rend, that we don't have to be like pushing rend manually anymore. So that's something I enjoy about the spec. But yeah, so as far as it goes, going into the spec itself, here's the talents that I'm running. I'll make sure to put my talent code in the description. There's not much that changes, to be honest. Like you might pick up second wind. That might be something you do. Like over here, I usually swap between these two. These I'll use against like warlocks and mistweavers. Although it did get nerfed, but it's still somewhat useful. And then Shattering Throw I'll use against like anything with a bubble, mage, pally kind of thing. If I don't need these, then maybe I'm picking up Second Wind. But like for the most part, this is pretty cookie cutter. Um, Over here, this is all gonna pretty much stay the same as well. There's not much that you're really gonna be changing over here. I mean, you might be able to drop this and pick up Massacre. So that you can execute and like increase your solo capabilities, but I just don't like the idea of taking away the spread pressure. Because if you read here, Whirlwind and Thundercrab Claws, your next four single target attacks strike up to four additional targets for 65% of the damage. So if like a lot of the times, even in twos especially, you'll get a lot of these healers that like they'll come in and they'll stack, or you can drag the DPS to their healer and force them to stack. So there's just so many capabilities for spread pressure and AoE, and that's the one thing that Mountain Thane is really good for. So I feel like if we take away this talent, we're taking away kind of the purpose of the spec. So yeah. Anyways, I'll have that talent code in the description for you guys. After that, going into the stats, we have Mastery here. So that's going to be what we're going to be stacking as Mastery, followed by Versatility. So these guys are kind of like equal. And then after that, it's Haste for the most part. But we're pretty much just trying to maximize our Mastery and Versatility. So for me, I went for the two set. The two sets incredible. Rampage damage increased by 10%. Odyn's Fury damage increased by 10%. Obviously, it's nerfed in PvP in half, but still 5% is pretty massive. The other thing that's nice about the set pieces is that they both have high mastery, so that's good in itself. And then for the most part, everything else, if we can get it from the vendor and it has high mastery, like high mastery, high verse, like these pants here, then we'll grab it. Otherwise, we're crafting. So I think for me, I crafted the neck, the shoulders, the back, the bracers, the belt, the boots, or I'm in the process of getting the boots done. But yeah, it's pretty cookie cutter across the board. A lot of the classes, like it's the same thing. It's like you get your set pieces and then everything else. It's mostly getting crafted. That seems to be like the gist of it. But yeah, we're stacking mastery and versatility. And then for my weapons, I went with acuity for both. You can run arcane mastery if you like. Both seem to be perfectly fine. It's just with your primary stat this season. because it's been heavily brought down, it's actually worth it. So like last season, for instance, when we were running, oh frig, what was that one chant? Now that I went to go say it, but I think Radiant Power. When you were running Radiant Power, a lot of the times it was just that extra damage you were going for, not so much the primary stat, because the primary stat was so high, it wasn't really doing much. But this season, primary stat does a lot. So even enchants like on our chest piece, Mark of the World Soul, and the one that you can get for your legs. Those are actually like really good and boost your damage by quite a bit because you're getting a lot of primary stat. So that's something to keep in mind. Okay, so next we'll go over the rotation. The rotation for Fury is pretty simple and generic. For the most part, we're going in. We're wanting to make sure we're keeping up our rend, so we're going to be doing that through our Thunderclap. After that, we're prioritizing Rampage. So Rampage is by far our #1 priority. Next on the priority list would be your Empowered Bloodthirst, followed by Bloodthirst. So you're in Thunder Mountain Thane, your Bloodthirst gets empowered. You'll see it when I go to show you guys the rotation, but that takes high priority. And then after that, it would be normal Bloodthirst. From there, I would say probably your Execute, whenever you get your Execute procs. The reason why is because it still gives a lot of, it hits really hard, like Execute hits really hard. I would say that, if I'm being honest, Bloodthirst, like normal Bloodthirst and Execute, probably have the same priority. I might even choose Execute over it, and that's simply because of the fact that one, Execute tends to crit a lot. I don't know what it is about the ability, but it just crits a lot. And then the other thing is it generates a ton of rage to feed into your rampage. So whenever you're executing, most likely you're rampaging directly after. So it's like you kind of have to look at them as being one and the same. Whereas with Bloodthirst, it's really nice. It hits super duper hard this season, but it doesn't generate nearly as much rage. So that's something to keep in mind, right? And then after that, it's Thunderclap. The thing with Fury is the main thing with Fury is just make sure you're rampaging as much as possible. That is by far the most important thing. Like if you're screwing up a little bit, like in the rotation, like I would honestly say between Thunderclap, Empowered Thunderclap, Bloodthirst, Execute, like all three of these abilities hit about roughly the same. It's more like the abilities like your proc Execute, your Rampage, and your Empowered Bloodthirst. Those are the ones that you want to make sure that you're always constantly getting right in the rotation. But anyways, here, I'll show you a little bit of a demonstration here. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to go in usually, and we're going to charge. We're going to drop our Champion Spear, and we're going to stun, or we can stun Champion Spear. It doesn't matter. After that, we're going to Thunderclap. That way it applies our rend, and then we're going to start our burst. Now, ideally, what we can do is we can Thunderclap before we do all that. That way we have a rend up, so we're probably going to do that. And then we'll start a burst rotation. So from here, I'm going to charge in. I'm going to Champion Spear, Thunderclap. I'm going to stun. Then I'm going to pop my burst rotation here. I'm going to Rampage twice. And then you'll see here my Bloodthirst is empowered. So I'm going to hit this. Rampage again. Thunderclap. Bloodthirst. Rampage. And now I'm just going into a priority system. Okay, so now, Thunderclap, I can hit this. Bloodthirst, I can hit this. Thunderclap. Rampage. Bloodthirst. Now, the one thing you guys are probably asking is, why am I not using Raging Blow? Raging Blow rarely gets used. And if I'm being honest, it doesn't hit hard enough for me to really prioritize it over Thunderclap. I would rather use Thunderclap, refresh the rend, and also keep the slow. Again, Raging Blow doesn't do enough for me that it really matters. So yeah, that's pretty much it. When we're looking at the rotation after we get our burst going, that's essentially it. You're rampaging as much as possible. You're making sure to use your Execute procs. Like I said, if I didn't have my Empowered Bloodthirst, if this is what I was looking at here, I would prioritize my Execute over the Bloodthirst simply because it usually guarantees that Rampage. If this was empowered though, then I would prioritize this over the Execute. just because the Empowered Bloodthirst hits so hard. So one more time, I'm coming in, I'm thunderclapping, okay? Maybe I'm doing my stun with my champion spear, I'm then using my burst, okay? Rampaging twice, because we get 2 rampages. Now here I got the execute proc, and here I have this. I'm going to prioritize the bloodbath, and then I'm going to go into the execute. And then back to bloodbath, then rampage, then thunderclap, and that's pretty much what it is. But no matter what, the most important thing is that you're always prioritizing rampage. Rampage, as we should be rampaging every other global, essentially. That's the way it should feel. And that's how you'll know, like, when you go, like, when you are practicing your rotation, if you are rampaging every other global, then you are most likely doing a really good job. At best, it would be every other global once in a while, but for the most part, yeah, that's what you're looking at. Okay, other than that, guys, a little bit of tips and tricks. So at the start of the game, typically what I like doing, I run with a Void Priest, is I usually like leaping past and fearing their healer, and then charging back with the burst that I just showed you. Sometimes what I might do is I might drop a spear before I go fear the healer, just so that way my priest can get his stuff ramped up and moving. Other than that, there's not too much to say. Like I said, you're keeping up at your rampage as much as possible. That way, you're keeping up your slaughterhouse stacks. You want to make sure you're keeping that MS up. Fury for the most part, like for the most part, you're training one target a lot of the times, unless there's like defensives that are being used that really like significantly bring down your damage. Like, that might be a PS, that might be what's the word? Not bark skin, the other one, iron bark, stuff like that. The only time you're really not swapping is if it's gonna essentially make it so that you're like, let's say I'm on a druid and I'm sticking to him and I'm stuck to him. He's getting screwed. He used iron bark. I might not swap, because then what might happen is if I have to use my mobility to get to the other target, it might make it so that when I go back to switch to the druid, it might screw that whole sequence, and then he might kite me out. So that might be the only time we don't swap, is if you're just on the person, you're crushing it, you're killing it. You have so much pressure that going to swap might end up like making it so that they kite you out. Then that's where I might not do it. But other than that, Fury's really good at swapping, so you want to make sure you're swapping on defensives, taking advantage of that. Again, we have a lot of spread pressure, especially with a Thunderclap. And the healers that I would be mainly running with are usually typically Void Priest, Resto Druid, or Mistweaver. Those are the ones that I typically like. Holy Pally's okay too. They give us freedoms, but it's just Holy Pally doesn't seem very strong this season for some reason. I think like them losing Repentance or something, it really just, I don't know, it hurt them a lot. So those are the 3 that I like. And then for my macros, guys, there's not many macros that I go over. I'll put them in the description, but I have my Arena 1, 2, and 3 macros for my stun, my kick, and my fears, my disarm, stuff like that, my intervenes. So that would be like a party macro. I have my enraged, so this is just enraged regen, so when I pop it immediately pops Bloodthirst and Impending Victory and puts me in defensive stance. So that one's nice. I have my stance swapping macro, so this one just makes it so that it swaps my stances. And then I have my burst macro, and that's just my one-shot macro. And pretty much what it does is when I pop it, it immediately pops out Odyn's Fury and Thunder Blast. So I'll show you here. When I go in, it'll pop my my Odyn's Fury, and then it'll pop my Thunder Blast. So there's that. But yeah. As of right now, guys, on the ladder, just to show you, I'm 2100 in solo and 2k in 2v2s. Again, about 2400 experience in 2s, 3s, and solo. I hope this guide helps some of you guys. If there's any questions you have, please feel free to just mention it down in the comments below, and I'll answer it. And yeah, good luck on your warrior journey. They're a lot of fun. Like I said, I'm having a blast. Fury and Arms, they're both doing amazing. So yeah, let me know your success stories below, and I hope you guys have a great day.